Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this show without the express written consent of the Financial Guys, LLC is strictly prohibited.
Investment advisory services offered through Independent Solutions Wealth Management and Blackridge Asset Management, LLC. Peak Broker Services, LLC is not an affiliate of Independent Solutions or Financial Guys, LLC.
Welcome to TFG Truth with Mike and Mike. I'm Mike Hayflick with Mike Sparaza, where our goal each and every week, folks, is to report facts, expose hypocrisy, and espouse some common sense. Today, it's all about idiots and other I words like, is it incompetence or is it intentional? We'll let you decide.
I'm going to lean with intentional. And by the way, congrats on getting the intro on one shot there. That's our first time in a long time. There you go.
Darn it. People listening or watching are going, oh, come on, he gets it right on the first try every week, right?
Congratulations. That was smooth.
That's with minimal coffee, too, by the way. This is really, and every time I hear these stories, I do think back to the phrase you always have is like, when is it going to end? And I don't think it's ever going to end. I feel like we're in this constant loop where I get home, talk to my wife, check in with my daughters, do some odds and ends, get everything just nice and tidy for the next day. Wake up the next day, and it all begins again. You just start reading any of the newscasts, you watch anything, and it's like a constant reel of idiocy, a constant reel of, this White House is just, they're doing about everything you could do to make America just like basically be last, right?
I think the problem too is everything they keep saying ends up not being true or just being completely opposite of what they said in months prior. And I'll use coronavirus because that's the number one thing. All these people that are saying, oh, no, it's all the unvaccinated getting us all sick. We need to get the vaccinated or the unvaccinated vaccinated. That's the problem here.
Right.
Wait a minute. I thought the whole point of the vaccine was so you folks that wanted it could get it and stop bitching at me about not having it, because your fear was gone because you got the vaccine. Nope, that's not good enough anymore.
That was the narrative, but then they changed it.
Right.
Because they're allowed to.
Right.
Facts are just, sort of like, facts are sort of one of those things that just get in the way of their narrative,
It's a pain in the ass.
It is. Yeah. They kind of get all these facts in front of them and they go, we won't use that one. And, put that one behind us. That's 3 months ago facts. Let's leave those behind us. You know what it really was screaming to me was the federal government should not be making these big decisions. They're talking about the different vaccines, the Moderna, the Pfizer, the Johnson & Johnson. How Johnson & Johnson, there's one shot, right? One shot and then you're done. It might not be as effective, though, as getting 2 Modernas or 2 Pfizers. And then, by the way, there might be a booster, but the booster was deemed to not really be ready. And then they're talking about 5 to 11-year-olds now. They're talking about teenagers. And I kept thinking to myself, let the freaking doctors decide. If I go to my doctor and he says, Mike, you're healthy. In fact, you may have had remember when you had, that all those symptoms, even though it tested out negative, I think you may have had coronavirus. You don't need any immunization because natural immunity to these things is by far the best way to be immune. Why can't they let the freaking doctors decide?
Well, and the other thing too is, as you can see, because they flip-flop like by the hour on everything, whether it be the vaccine, whether it be natural immunity, which actually isn't really talked about, but the point is, the fact of the matter is, all this stuff shows they don't know shit about it.
They don't know.
They don't know anything.
And they do this, and it's just constant. You hear different versions of, well, you need to mask up. You don't need to. You don't have to if you're vaccinated. You hear all this, and it's just constantly in my ear screaming, get out of the way. Let your doctor decide for you what's best for you. Because if I had the virus, one of the worst things I might do is get the vaccine. Because I'm hearing it can make you really sick if you've already gotten natural immunity.
I'll get you one better. Let myself make the freaking decision, right?
Right.
And that's my biggest problem. Again, I always use myself as an example because that's the greatest example for me because it's me. I'm 29 years old. I had coronavirus last year. I'm very healthy. I barely get sick.
Fit as a fiddle.
Fit as.
I don't even know. It doesn't sound like a fiddle.
I look like Hulk Hogan. I'm jacked up.
He's ripped. Well, at least his pants are ripped.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he can't button them anyway.
That's right. But like for me, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like why would I go do that? Mm-hmm. Why would I take a vaccine? First off, again, this idea that we know the future consequences of this vaccine or we know everything about it is just false because we don't.
We don't.
And for those who say, oh, the FDA, okay, let's just make an example. The FDA also approved, I think it was Chantix, which was a smokers to stop smoking.
Right.
And that now has been, oh my God, this is causing serious harm for people. That's been FDA approved for years. Mm-hmm. So let's not act like, these people know everything. The FDA is fine. The CDC's fine. Like, let me make that decision for me. Just like I make the decision every year, do I get a flu shot or not? Spoiler alert, I don't because I don't get sick. So
what Glenn will often say, he'll say, let me do me and you do you.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be, especially with our health, especially with anything relating to our personal, bodies. Well, whatever happened to my body, my choice? Like, where are those people?
And again, for those that are so petrified, you take the vaccine, you wear your mask, leave me the hell alone. How about that?
And I'll try not to give you the finger at the airport.
Right.
And everyone will be happy.
Right.
So, idiots, right? We've got a few contestants today, and we have a bonus contestant because, honestly, this bonus contestant never falls out of the race. I mean, I won't even say he or she yet, but it might be a they, right? Could be a they.
Could be they.
A he, a she, or a they.
Him, her.
Him, her, or otherwise.
Yep.
AOC. So AOC invited to some big gala, right? Big dinner. In fact, if you look online, you can actually see her getting ready and prepped for this. I don't know if you found that. Did you see it? Yeah,
I did because and of course she didn't do it for the show. She just was getting ready, of course, right?
No, she doesn't get all the camera people and all of her entourage in the same room as she's getting all ready and dressed and all that. So she goes and wears a dress. It says "Tax the Rich" in big, colorful letters, right?
With no mask on, by the way.
No masks.
Yeah.
No masks are because these are sophisticated people, folks. You've got to remember, AOC. She used to be, was she a bartender?
Yeah. I don't know if Tucker Carlson just made that up or not, but
I'm going with it.
Yeah.
I could see her being a bartender, but not for anything complicated. Maybe just draft beer and just, basically
pouring wine.
Red, white, or rosé. Maybe not even put the rosé in there. That might confuse her.
Yeah.
Because she really is, she's not very smart. And so she wears the tax the rich dress. Clearly just wants to get attention, right? That's what these people are. They're like the middle schoolers, right? And no offense to you if you're a middle schooler, because honestly, AOC is far beneath you. But the middle schooler who has just got the raging hormones, they just want to go to school and they want everyone to notice them. This is not about learning for middle schoolers like this. This is AOC. She wants to get to the party and be the center of attention every single time. So tax the rich, right? Here's some stats, though, on people. If you're wondering, are the rich actually paying any taxes? This is what the plan is. The House Democrats, they basically want to get that upper income tax rate back to 39.6. Under Trump, it was at 37. Still high. 37% on a certain amount of income above, I can't remember if it's $600,000 and above, something like that. So people say, I don't think the rich pay enough taxes. It depends on who you know, right? There's shell companies. I love that. These people, they just throw out shell companies. They evade taxes. Remember that thing on write-offs? I think it was a Seinfeld.
Yes.
We do it on our intro to the radio show.
Yes.
You're gonna do write-offs. You don't even know what a write-off is. I know, but they do. This is what these people think. This is the facts, though. According to a Congressional Budget Office report, the top 1% of earners paid an average federal tax rate of 32% in 2017. Now, this is just federal, folks. Don't worry about New York and California, right? And Illinois, some of these other super high state tax, wonderful places to be. 32%. Now, this is in 2018. Top 1% of income earners who earned more than $540,000 earned 21% of all U.S. income while paying 40% of all federal income taxes. 40%. Then, if we go a little further, the bottom 90% of taxpayers combined, they paid more than the bottom 90%. So, I mean, anyone who thinks that people who make some money, who took the chance on building a business, the ones that actually go out and employ people, right? Those people do pay taxes. The top 10% earned 48% of the income and paid 71% of federal taxes.
And here's the problem, too. People don't understand. So business owners, we are these people, right? We have staff that we have to pay. We have advertising that we have to pay. So not only are we paying the highest amounts of taxes, we are also funding livelihoods for folks too, so people are not sitting at home, right? And that's not what a burden that is. We love that. Like we love that we have staff that love their jobs and are happy to be here and that we can pay.
No doubt.
It's not a burden. It's just the fact that people forget about that. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean that you like don't do other things like pay for your business.
It doesn't all go in your pocket either.
Right. It's not.
I mean, for every person that a business owner employs, for every new person that's in their supply chain, for every new, client, customer, it's a little more complicated with every person. Yeah. So the bigger you get, the harder it gets. But guess what? The business owner, those successful people, they get better at what they do. They get more competent. They get really sharp at what they know. They know how to put smart people around them.
Yep.
And yes, they make a great living, but they also do put a whole bunch into the federal government, which is disgusting. I mean, I have to pay quarterlies, right? I have to, because I get paid not through a W-2 where they, the financial guys doesn't take money out of my pay and send it to the government. I have to do that myself. Yep. And it makes me sick to my stomach. And I don't care what the check is getting written for, to send money to that IRS, to send it to the U.S. Treasury, knowing how our freaking government works. It makes you sick to your stomach all day long. I'm sick to my stomach when I have to pay quarterlies to the federal and the state government.
And I think people like AOC also, they talk about people like us like, oh, you just anti-tax. You don't want to help the country people. No, that's not it. That's not it at all, right? We're just making the point that our money, of course we need to pay taxes. I want our roads to be nice, right? I want to have nice facilities, whether it be sporting arenas or things like the fair and so like that's all good stuff. I'm all for that. Like high schools and I coach high school football. People always say, what a waste of money a turf field is. No, it's for kids. It keeps them out of trouble and it's a good thing. I'm all for that. I'm not anti-tax. I'm anti-paying a lot of tax and then it going towards people who don't want to work, or going towards Cuomo lawsuits. Like I prefer not to put my taxes towards that. Can we put it towards maybe the roads that suck or whatever?
Or how about having like a great national defense and actually like protecting our borders?
Sure. Yeah. I'm good with that. Yeah.
I mean,
now, let me just go back to AOC and how dumb she is for a second, though. This is how shot this woman is. She wears a tax the rich dress to an event that costs $35,000 a ticket. Right. And you have to be invited.
Yes.
It's not like hey, Mike and Mike are going to go do a podcast there, right? Like, it's just not how it works. You have to be invited. And it's a $35,000 per seat event. And and to be honest with you, if I'm one of the celebrities in there, they have no stones, but if they did, I'd be like, get your ass in the dressing room, take that shit off, and put something else on. Because that's a shot at me. I'm one that makes a lot of money, right? Like, I am paying my tax. But no, they put her on a pedestal like she's like, Mahatma Gandhi, right?
Let's try next year, though. Let's do a GoFundMe page for Mike and Mike from TFG Truth to go to that event.
Then we got to get on the inside to get invited, though. That's the problem.
What are we going to wear? We should wear suits that...
I'm going to get a tax the poor suit.
How about work? Just get out and work. Yeah. Maybe we'll have that on our jackets.
Yeah.
All right. So idiot number one, AOC. Number two, oh my, as some of the guys on TV call it, MSDNC, Joy Reid. I can't even call her Joy anymore. She's the most hate-filled person that I've ever seen. As my stepdad of many years ago, Fred, he used to say this, Mike, beauty is skin deep, but ugly goes right to the bone. And he had this really great low voice. And ugly right to the bone is the definition of Joy Reid.
She is... I don't even know how to explain this woman because it like
she's a phenomenon.
She is like it's amazing the stuff that comes out of her mouth. Like, and you know what it feels like. Again, I feel like we tell it how it is.
It feels
that's
disgusting.
It's not even disgusting though. It just feels like made up.
Feels like I fell into a septic tank every time I watch it.
And she just makes stuff up. Like I don't even know. Like it's like let's go back to our opening line. Incompetence or intentional. It's intentional, right? Like she just comes up with this stuff and you'll go into this one because I don't even know how you could get this thought out of what happened here.
It takes creativity.
It does.
And I think really, I wonder if any of her staff ever put like real news in front of her and says, this is how we really ought to cover this.
Right.
You know, I think she looks at it and goes, oh, no. I got my take on this. Yep. Don't you worry. She goes to her racist files, right? Like the old X-Files, you know, now it's the racist files by Joy Reid. You know, maybe she could start that because she can turn any story into a race story. Like literally every story. She could turn Cinderella. Go through every Disney show you can think of, right? The Lion King. You can go through you can do Little Mermaid. Every story she gets, it's racist. That Simba character. Cute little guy, but I don't know. He only hangs with X, Y, or Z. He's got to be racist.
Yeah, there's only white folks in the show, so it's got to be right. Like,
I mean, honestly. And so here's what she says about the Gabby Petito case. Now, Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old white woman who went missing, traveling with her boyfriend of 2.5 years, goes missing. Now they have found that the body that they found was definitely her. And they now think that the manner of death was homicide. So that's what we hear. It's been on all the media, right? And at some point, this is one part I would almost agree with Joy Haidt. It is on all the time. Like, it is a girl, a boyfriend. It's a national story. They get ratings by having this on their shows, right? And everyone seems to cover where were they? The white van was shown in this, you know, the blogger, the travel blogger saw the white van. Where was she last? Why are the parents of this guy not speaking? Where is the guy? They haven't seen him for, you know, and it goes on. And I think to myself, whatever happened to, like in our state, talking about the sexual harassment allegations against Cuomo? How about the nursing home, you know, scandal where thousands of people died? How about nationally the Afghanistan story? Where the hell did that go?
Right.
I mean, the border, right? The Haitians coming across the border. We've seen a lot of that. How about just the general mess of the border? I mean, there's so many things, but they are covering this. Now, the last thing, like you just said, the last thing you're going to do is sort of turn this into a story of, why are they following this missing white woman, right?
But here's why she's such a putz, though, because at the end of the day, right, like, it's media driven why this is all on TV. It's not like Mike and Mike are like, hey, let's push this out. It's media driven, right? Yeah. And the point was people were making, right, well, let me go to the headline, right, like you said, the missing white woman syndrome. It has nothing to do with the race. If they wanted to talk about a missing African-American girl, right, it happens all the time. If they want to talk about a missing white woman, it happens all the time.
And she should.
Yes.
Bring attention to it. Get more, and then it's all about, how are we going to stop this? Well, maybe the defunding the police is not the way to do it, right?
Guess who's involved in this whole case here? The police. Go figure.
The police.
Yeah,
the police are the ones who are tracking down the facts and the evidence to figure out what has happened to this young woman. And it's been really quick in terms of figuring this out. I mean, think about this. They had like hundreds of thousands of acres to find her, and a dog, sniffed out the body.
Right.
And it looks like it is Gabby Petito. It's just getting disgusting that they'll never focus on the elephant in the room type problems. And then even if they do want to focus on this, they turn it into it's about race. Joy could pick out thousands of cases every month of like shootings, of innocent people being killed because of shootings. Let's just pick Chicago. She could have a 20-year series on just Chicago, inner city Chicago.
How about the one that I saw this online yesterday because it was involving this, like, The girl that got she had her baby in her arms and got shot dead in the middle of the streets. I think it was Chicago. Most recently, it was like a month ago. Like, how come that was stricken from the record? Because it was African American on African American crime. They don't want to talk about that, right? They don't want to talk about. They only want to talk about. Oh, it's always racial, right? Oh, yeah. The reason the OJ case was so big because it was a white woman.
Right.
No, it was because it was OJ Simpson that was involved in a murder trial, not because it was the media didn't want it because it was a white woman. I've heard that one before too. Like, oh, it was just all because she was a white woman.
Yeah.
Like, stop playing race on this stuff. Like, and you're making the race argument worse. Every time you do this crap, you just make it worse and worse and worse.
What I hate about Joy Hate Reid is she starts, and this is classic, right? This is classic. They have a message that they want to make sure that in their segment on this, they have a message to send out to people. But she starts it like this. It goes without saying that no family should ever have to endure that kind of pain, and the Petito family certainly deserves answers and justice. The big butt's coming, right? Joy Reid's big butt. But the way this story has captivated the nation has many wondering. Oh yeah, who's wondering, Joy? Who's wondering that it's missing white woman syndrome that's driving this whole thing? You are wondering because you are a hate-filled woman.
Racist.
Ugly,
you are a racist.
Absolutely ugly to the bone. There's no question about it. And I can't believe that even MSNBC keeps her on the air. I mean, this is the only reason that we talk about her is because of how hate-filled she is, not because of her wonderful professionalism and journalism and all that.
And I think this just speaks to these type of people, right? And our presidents this way, our vice presidents this way, right? I feel like us angry, bad white people, I'm putting that in air quotes because it's a bunch of crap, care about the African American community more than they do because all they do is race bait. We actually, we've said this a million times, I do care about Chicago. I do want them to fix that problem because it's a major problem. There are young kids and young adults dying every weekend in Chicago. Yep. That's not good. That's not a good recipe for success in that city, right? It's happening in New York City. There's people being beaten on subways. There's people being shot at in New York City. It's east side of Buffalo. So I don't want that for our city. Yep. I want us to have a prosperous city and a place where people can go and grow in their life, not be shot on the street. We are the ones talking about it. They seem to just want to talk about white people. We're the ones that want to help out every community.
Yeah. I just don't know. I mean, I think if she wanted to, it's her show. It has her name on it.
Right.
She could bring in any story she wants every single week.
Right.
She could do countless stories on these folks. This also just to wrap this up on Hate Reid. They don't get the women of color don't get as much attention because they didn't look like or don't look like the daughters or granddaughters of newsroom executives. So, Joy, are you saying none of the newsroom executives are of color? Like, is that what we're now saying? It's only white newsroom executives? Like, I just wish the newsroom executives would come out and say, Joy, you're out of line. You're a complete imbecile.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. You're going to win the contest on the TFG Truth podcast. That's what they would say, right? Because they all listen, I'm sure. All right. So how about holding down this position for what, about 8 months now at least?
Yep.
And we could even go back into the presidential campaign. Joe Biden. Oh, my. So
I don't even think we talk about it. I think we just play it.
Let's just play.
Let's
So
not even...
UN speech, just some snippets, folks, of the UN speech. Here's Joe Biden.
We meet this year in a moment of intermingled with great pain. We've lost so much to this devastating pandemic, the emergence of new technologies, and global health and a global health threat council toward global COVID response, vaccinating the world and building back better from the borderless climate crisis from the United States.
Let's talk about how ironic that is. The borderless climate crisis. I'm sounding like him. The borderless climate crisis. That's borderless, but our southern border's bordered up like tighter than a drum, right? Like that's what he thinks is borderless, not our southern border.
They say the complete opposite of what reality is.
Right.
And I think they think if they say it enough that people just start to go, oh, I won't believe my eyes and my ears anymore because Joe says it's completely opposite.
We're fine.
And from other donors. Working with countries, technologies that reduce the risk. Similarly, we know the bitter sting of terrorism The bitter sting of terrorism is real. The United States is committed to using our resources. When the earthquake strikes, we're fighting between warring parties, horrific violence, and a belief in the universe whether it occurs LGBTQI.
XYZPDQ.
I mean,
what the hell is that?
To his credit, part of the reason they screw this stuff up is because they have so many names and acronyms for everything out there, right? I mean, everything.
Yeah.
And again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's actually sad, right? Like, the guy is just totally mentally shot.
I would keep it simple and just say, and all people, A to Z.
Right.
A to Z would cover the whole alphabet.
Yeah, and then you can expand on that.
Everyone knows, most people know the alphabet A to Z, so you wouldn't have to go start with L and G and
come back to A.
It'd be so hard. I mean, that's hard to do. Isn't it kind of cringeworthy, though?
It is.
I mean, really, as you sit there listening, the way he slurs. Here's a suggestion to any of the speechwriters: keep it down to one-syllable words for Joe.
Right.
One syllable, like see, spot, run. You can't even put the word Afghanistan in there because he'll definitely make a mess of it. This is disgusting because he clearly has issues. I mean, major issues. He's supposed to, all he has to do is read. He goes back and forth from one teleprompter to the other, and that's only to make it look like he's interactive with the audience, right? Just got to keep reading, and he can't do it.
And by the way, if you listen to a lot of that, I know that was a cut-up speech, but you get the point. It's all social issues. There's nothing of substance about actual, the economy, debts, and there's stuff like that, right? There's no foreign policy in there.
Nothing about China.
Right. No foreign policy. Yeah. Again, it's just climate change.
Yep.
LGBTQI, or I hope I got that right. There's no substance to any, and again, to talk about the climate crisis, this is what people don't understand, I don't think. I mean, our listeners do, but talking about the climate crisis is great. Implementing a strategy that's actually effective to fix it is another story. Mm-hmm. So saying we're just going to go to electric cars, fantastic, looking forward to it. Here's the problem. When the electric car is $50,000 and the person that buys the, Chevy Cruze right now at 20 can't afford it, what are they going to do? Walk to work? Mm-hmm. If you want to go fully electric or solar, whatever you want to do, can we fly a plane that way? Because my understanding is no chance in hell can we fly a plane on solar or electric right now, or even close to doing so, right? So it's great in theory, but you got to actually have a plan that you can execute to make it happen, and we're not even close.
Not even close. Joe, it really, and he's there in this big, the UN, whatever it is, auditorium, and just to listen to him. And then I think, if I'm one of these other leaders of a different country and listening to that guy, and they're all looking at each other going, wait, our military is really small. We've always counted on them. Like the big bullies, the Russias, the Chinas of the world. What are we going to do? Yep. They're like, holy shit, we're in trouble. And that's what they're listening to, though. So Biden, Afghanistan still could be 1,000 to even more people stranded in Afghanistan.
That went away, didn't it?
You'd think so. The media seems to think it did. Haitian refugees just pouring over the borders. Like 9,000 Haitian refugees are still under a big bridge there. Yeah.
Which brings us to our bonus idiot.
Yes. Yeah. Who's supposed to be in charge of this?
And I actually have a bonus and a bonus that I just want to hit quickly. Mm-hmm. But bonus idiot Kamala Harris, who is, according to...
Hey, wait. Multiple bonuses? Would that be bone-eye?
Bone-eye.
Like, we got a lot of bone-eye. I like it. All right. One bonus, many bone-eye.
Bone-eye.
Okay.
So she's the border czar, as per our sources. And she... is doing an interview yesterday about I don't know if people have seen the video of it was a picture of the border patrol guy on a horse, and it looked like he was like whipping a Haitian refugee. If you actually watch the full video, though, that's not really what happened. But no, she says she's glad they're doing an investigation into this matter because it's truly unacceptable. So my follow-up question to that would be, Kamala, you're in charge of that. Mm-hmm. So let's interview you about this. How are you not getting it right? what are you screwing up there? What's going on with you at the border? And the answer would be, she doesn't have to answer. I'll answer for her. It's rhetorical for her. She's not there. So she has no idea what's going on at the border. And she has no idea how to fix it, obviously, because she hasn't found the time to be there yet for an extended period of time.
Right.
And to me, for her to just bash the border patrol and customs people is just a complete example of how she's just to be honest, I mean, I'll give you the other two, but she's got to be my top idiot still in this whole group of idiots.
She looks, I probably agree with you. I'd have to agree, because you listen to her and you see she's getting interviewed, I mean, very quickly, right? Because they don't do a lot of long interviews where they have to answer very in-depth questions. She can't. Just like Joe can't. Did you happen to see that? Joe was with... Boris
Johnson?
Boris, yes. Yeah. He's with Boris, and Boris is sort of like, on the edge of his seat thinking, all right, time for questions. Here we go. And they literally start going, okay, everyone out of the press room, everyone out. And
it was like there was a fire.
I know. Boris and Joe are sitting there going, they're looking. Joe knows exactly what's going on. Like, hey, Boris, they don't let me answer questions.
We got to do this behind closed doors, Boris.
Did you hear me? Yeah. Did you hear me read that UN speech? Oh my God, they don't let me do any questions. Like you probably answer all sorts of questions. Kind of like my predecessor, Donald Trump. He could stand there for hours and answer questions. Yeah. But I think the thing with Kamala though, it's like the camera's on her, and as they're asking a question, it almost seems like she's trying to drop back, like getting away, like she needs to get away, like it gets too uncomfortable for her. But when she finally does answer,
and she squirms, like you can tell. Yep. Like and again, it's her nervous tick, right? Like the smiling, the laughing, like
it's the laugh.
She can't just be a professional and answer. I mean, again, I like Mike and Glenn always say, these people couldn't run a lemonade stand, right? Like I can't imagine if that's how you or I were with a client. Like, imagine this. Hey, Mike, I have a question about that auto and home policy I just wrote you. Oh, get away. We can't ask questions. Gotta go. And with her, like, imagine if they asked me a question. I said, yeah. They'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
right?
A lot of people have questions about those policies. And then off you go into your office.
Right. Like, it's unbelievable. Between her and Joe, like, again, if you actually ran a business, you would not be able to run from stuff like that.
No.
You just can't do it.
And they're the leaders, folks, of our country right now, right? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. What's your thought on how long Joe will still be president? How much longer?
I don't know. I really don't. I could see them dragging it out just because they maybe realize they made a mistake with Kamala. Mm-hmm. I could also see them pulling the 25th Amendment thing. I don't know. Yeah. I really, and I think it comes down to the right's got to step up, and we've talked about this with Mike. I mean, at some point we have to be tough and we have to fight back. And with all these mandates and just the bonus are these two topics.
Yep.
The one is Jen Psaki and her responses to the border and having those people come up through the border and not be vaccinated, yet people in New York City to go to a restaurant need to be ID'd and vaccinated.
Yep.
It's insane.
And hostesses, they're getting beaten up if they're telling people, I need to see your vaccine ID.
And that's how smart BLM is, right? They're blaming the restaurant. Yep. Like it's the restaurant's fault. Not de Blasio, not the state of New York. No. It's the restaurant guy. The guy at the restaurant that says, hey, I don't want to get fined. Can you show me your vaccine card? It's his fault. That's how stupid BLM is.
Well, that's about enforcement, right? You told me what I had to do, so now I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to enforce it. But that's just like border control. I mean, we know what the policies are. We know that there's a way to become a legalized citizen, but don't enforce those laws. We got other initiatives, right? That's what it's all about.
And bonus.
Boni
3 is cubed is the San Francisco mayor. I don't know if you saw this one. They have a mask mandate out there, but she was at a concert at a local San Francisco club, and her, I have to pull it because it doesn't do it justice without me pulling. And you can listen to this woman.
I did see this, and the arrogance of her reply. That's what really gets me. Like these people, they just don't even care. They just smack you right in the face with it, as you say. They don't even try to hide it anymore, folks. And they know they're breaking the rules, but they're the sophisticated. They're the elite. The rules don't apply to them, but you better listen to what they're telling us to do, right? That's what they do.
And it's absolutely infuriating because again, people ask me all the time, like, God, you're just so you won't budge. You're so stubborn about this COVID and the vaccine and the mask. And I send these to my mother and father-in-law, my wife all the time, and my wife's like, can you just not do that all the time? But I send this all the time because I said to my father-in-law the other day, I sent this video. I said, this is why you will never see me masked again. Right. This is why you will never see me get the vaccine. Right. These people don't care about coronavirus. Why should I? It's proven at this point.
That's right.
If you know who they
I'm going to just start this from the beginning.
Oh, yeah, this is good.
Specific paragraph I was asked to ask you about. It says, this is in a published report, it says that a video, again, this is nitpicky, but it is what it is.
It's nitpicky.
See what this reporter does, though? She is petrified to ask this. Yeah. She says, well, this wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm just playing what I heard. This is just, I know it's nitpicky. Like, they're already setting it up as if they're, like, afraid to even approach this with her. In fact, I'll bet that reporter probably got canned. I bet she's out.
And Miss Reporter, if I could speak with you, I would say it's not nitpicky.
It's not.
These people are ruining our lives and putting these laws into effect, and then we call them out for not following the same laws, and it's nitpicky?
It's unbelievable to me.
It's hypocritical is what it is.
Classless breed, neither seated at a table nor positioned at a stationary counter, standing and dancing without any food or drinks in her hand. She also posed for photos while not wearing a mask.
Okay, so just to be clear. I was sitting at my table, and when, I don't know about you and whether or not you know who Raphael Sadiq and Dwayne Wiggins are, but I don't know about you, but if you know who they are, I don't care where you're sitting. You're going to get up and start dancing. My drink was sitting.
COVID or no COVID?
So this is what's so funny. She's making the exact point of what we say about how ridiculous this is. She's just proving our point. But what to me, for all those listening in Buffalo, because we're all Buffalo Bills fans and we go to Bills games, I could say this same exact spiel. Have you ever been to a Bills game? The Bills shout song?
You see Josh Allen? You see him when he throws to Diggs?
The Bills shout song? I got to get up and dance.
Are you kidding?
And dance around. Like
we're filled with the Bills spirit.
Yeah. I mean, these people are nuts.
At the table, I got up and started dancing because I was feeling the spirit. And I wasn't thinking about a mask. I was thinking about having a good time.
No kidding.
Yes.
And in the process, I was following the health order.
Oh, my gosh.
Not to mention...
You were not following the health orders.
Having a good time.
The Chronicle reporter who walked up to me had no mask in sight. When I took a picture, as I do in any case or do an interview, yes, I take my mask off.
Why?
When I want to take a picture. I don't need to. I'm vaccinated. I don't need to take a picture every single time. I don't want to.
That's it.
But
if I'm vaccinated,
I'm being careful to not only protect myself and to protect other people.
But you're not, ma'am.
This is really unfortunate.
When I stood up to when I was filled with the spirit of the music, I held my breath.
And I took a picture.
And then she sat down, and then she masked up, right? What a joke.
And again,
what a joke.
Again, proving everything we say. If you're vaccinated, great. Go out without a mask on. Don't care. If you're unvaccinated, great. Go out without a mask on. Go have fun. I don't care. It's just you can't mandate stuff, not do it, and then say, I'm feeling the spirit and I'm vaccinated. No shit.
And now they say it. They just say it. And they must think we're all idiots. We think that we posed a whole great group, boni idiots too, many, bonus squared, cubed. There's so many choices out there, folks. So I don't know. What are we all going to do about it? I guess that's the question.
And by the way, those are all within like the last 5 days. Those are not like we pulled from like the last 6 months. The AOC was last week. Actually, no, it was Sunday. Joy Reid was yesterday. Biden's speech was yesterday. Kamala Harris's stuff was yesterday.
Yep.
Jen Psaki's was Monday. And the San Francisco mayor was Monday. So I take that back. It's not 5 days. 3 days.
It's 3 days.
That was 3 days.
We could do live streaming 24 hours a day, and I think just have these stories, folks, over and over again. The frustrating thing is, like you and I, we come to work. We come to our office early to actually do this, but then we actually have full days, and we often work 6 days. Sometimes even on a 7th day we're working. The problem is, what do we do then, right? What do we do? Shut down everything and tell all of our clients, all of our customers, we're shutting down for a month. We're going to head either to Albany or Washington, D.C. We have to, because things are getting out of hand. Whatever you as an individual can do, spread the word. We got to stop this crap. These idiots are taking over. You know they are. It's happening right on your own school boards.
They're telling you.
All the way up to the federal government. We've got to stop them. We've got to do something. Otherwise, I mean, where are we heading, right? If we don't get in the way of this thing. I mean, this is like a freight train that's going probably 60, 70 miles an hour now. We've got to get in the way of it, folks.
Yep.
All right, well, that'll do it. We appreciate you tuning in. This is like a therapy session for us, folks, every week. TFG Truth. Keep up the good fight. Mike Speraza, I'm Mike Hayflick. We'll be back next week.